liebe. Ey, guck mal, was geht, wo ich hingucken soll?
To our place.
Ja, also für mich, wir können Deutsch sprechen, ne?
Ja, gerne.
Für mich ist es echt krass, das habe ich gerade im Auto schon gesagt auf der Hinfahrt. Ich glaube, wenn ich irgendwann mal aufhöre, das zu machen, dann kann ich wirklich irgendwie, glaube ich, irgendwann behaupten, nicht überall gewesen zu sein. Weil hier zu sein, in Australien, ich hätte niemals gedacht, dass ich das machen würde mal. Ne? Also es ist wirklich verrückt. Also, wir werden heute steuergerättechnisch uns das Ganze anschauen, was in unseren wunderschönen 34er GTR kommt. Und dafür haben wir direkt zu Haltech, wo wir hier auch gerade sind. Ich habe schon gerade einen kleinen Blick in die Werkstatt gucken können. Das sah schon sehr spannend aus. Sehr gut. Das gucken wir uns auch an?
Ja, ja.
Okay, dann wir folgen dir.
Ich hab die Information, dass wir euch alles zeigen dürfen.
Ehrlich?
Ja.
Okay. Dann werden wir, glaube ich, einen Einblick bekommen, wo, glaube ich, noch kein deutsches Team hier war, oder?
Nein.
Galileo heute mal ganz anders.
Ich würde es auch nicht empfehlen, weil es echt weit. Es ist wirklich weit. Es ist gut, wenn ich den Weg auf mich nehme und ihr könnt es angucken. Also nochmal hinkommen, es ist schon eine Nummer.
Du, ich bin 14 Stunden von dabei nach Sydney unterwegs gewesen.
Danach
also.
nochmal, ja. Gut. Also, brauchen wir gar nicht drüber quatschen. Also, wir gehen mal los. Gehen wir da rein zuerst?
Good. Where is the best place to start?
At the beginning.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I want to see the whole stuff.
We'll wander through reception, we'll wander upstairs through the design area, so where we're doing all the design stuff, through the tech support area,
I got
and
questions.
then we'll come downstairs.
I got questions.
Oh no.
A lot.
I don't have to answer in German though, right?
No, we speak whatever we like.
All right.
Let's go. That's memories.
You want to hear about a few of these things?
That's memories for me.
The patch harness one.
I tell you a story about these little things. I was very young and I started tuning. I had a little shed where I put a twin turbo kit on my 350Z. I had no clue about writing any kind of files and I thought I can do it. So I just put it on the car, typed in any kind of stuff that I thought makes sense, went on the Autobahn. First thing happened after 500 meters, the front hood flipped on the roof. I was young, on the roof, hood back on it, and then a motorbike came next to me. You had to do what you had to do, and I had a hole in the piston like that. So nothing wrong with the ECU, but to see it now, it's crazy. That's from what year is that?
About the test car for that was a 2005 35th anniversary 350Z, a yellow one. So this is it. So this is the beginning of the history. So 1986, this is where it all started.
86.
1986.
Yep. For what car was that?
Nothing. So that was a fueler, like a standalone fuel controller that the original owner or the original designer, Bill Mitchell, designed that for a turbocharged Holden Gemini, his son's Holden Gemini.
We don't have that, but the Holden makes,
Piazza Turbo, something similar to that.
Okay.
That he was having a whole bunch of...
86.
1986. So Haltech actually had the patents for real-time engine management.
And that was my first question. Because in Germany, of course, the guy started too, but the EEPROM, you always had to put it onto your suit. So that was live.
That was live.
86.
So, yep, 86, and held the patents until mid-2000 and then let them go.
Why?
Probably too hard to protect, too many brands,
Costs.
too many things. Look, the access to the internet now and the access to information.
So Haltech had it with the first ones.
Yeah.
Das ist echt krass, Leute. Also das wusste ich nicht. Haltech war die erste Firma, für die jetzt gar nicht im Thema sind. Ein Steuergerät programmieren ist eine Sache. Nur in der ersten Programmierung hast du ja nicht deinen besten Schuss. Also musst du live programmieren können. Das heißt, du schließt den Laptop an, bist im Auto oder auf dem Prüfstand und kannst nochmal ein bisschen fetter machen, ein bisschen mager machen, ein bisschen Zündung ziehen, all das. Das konntest du live machen. 86. Das ist echt außergewöhnlich, weil ich kenne noch die Zeit, du fährst, guckst, raus, Block rausnehmen, in den Apparat rein, umschreiben, Block wieder raus, reintun, Autobahn fahren, nicht besser, raus, Block, ne? Also das kannst du dir vorstellen. Das ist nichts damit zu tun. Also wirklich. So, and that was the second then.
Second series of ECUs, and then it kind of goes on and on. So about 2000s-ish, give or take, 2005, 2010-ish, 2010, and then we come across to the Elite series. So here's the Hall of Fame of the Elite series, which is still current generation.
So kind of hot.
Bit worse for wear, these two, but we actually swapped these out for new units. They got sent in from customers who'd obviously had pretty serious problems. They go through the bench test fine, they work fine.
I don't see the point in the problem.
Yeah, no fault found. No fault found when they go through our testing. They'll both run your engine perfectly fine.
Like that.
Yep. So we just swapped them out because the truth is we just wanted them from the like we
Yeah,
wanted them
yeah, it looks
for
cool.
the museum because we thought they're cool. So we swapped them out.
So the company started when?
1986 here.
So he started directly with that.
Yeah, here in Sydney. Yeah.
And his job was.
He had a couple of people to help him, but yeah, he was an engineer. He also had a couple of software engineers that were all sort of friends, and it started as a pretty simple project.
Is that the original one?
This one here is as close as we know to the original one. So a fuel-only system, so no ignition control, only fuel. You would splice a wire onto the coil negative of the engine, and that's how you would get the tacho signal. And then the bar graph style software, which is also very, very unique at the time to have the graphical display or a very early GUI interface.
Had it?
Yeah, really unique, very unusual.
Green. I mean, just typical.
Yeah, it was either blue or it was green, and you used to go across the bars for 0 RPM, 500, 1,000, up.
Wow. I mean, I had a chance when I was racing a lot of old Porsche race cars.
Oh, yeah?
These Bosch Motorsport ECUs, they were like this big,
Yeah.
and they had typing machines
Yeah.
to reprogram them.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Ne, also wenn du dann in der Box bist und es gibt nur noch ganz wenig Leute, die diese Dinger haben, die schließen eine Schreibmaschine an, ne, also eine digitale Schreibmaschine an das Teil und hämmern da ihre Sachen rein und dann kommen da kleine Papiercodes raus. Und du stehst vor so einem 956 und denkst dir, okay, das soll klappen. Okay, also da haben wir jetzt das erste frei programmierbare Steuergerät gesehen.
Well, I guess moving on to these ones. This is all the current generation now. So the Nexus series and the Elite series. So the 10-inch dashes, the 7-inch dashes, power distribution modules, the Nexus series, that's the VCU, Vehicle Control Unit, that's got the PDM and engine management in one device. Direct plug-in ECUs for the mighty Barra, so the Ford Falcon, the Barra 6-cylinder, 4-litre engine.
Yeah.
Very, very popular in this country.
But when I see that, and we can cut this out,
Yeah.
but do they grow from one ECU to the other, or is it always new? Is it complete new development? I mean,
Ich kann jetzt in Deutsch gerne einspringen.
Ja.
Und zwar der Entwicklungssprung von der Platinum-Serie, das sind diese Steuergeräte in den silbernen Gehäuse,
Ja.
zu der Elite war jetzt kein großer Quantensprung. Die Nexus-Plattform ist eine komplett eigenständige neue Plattform auf einer ist es am letzten Stand einfach von der Technologie. Und das Tolle ist, also angefangen hat es bei der Nexus R5, das ist quasi unser Flagship und es hat 4x25 Ampere Ausgänge für Power Supply.
Ja, krass.
Und
wie viele?
4x25 Ampere und 10x8 Ampere.
Wofür?
Das heißt, das Schöne ist, wenn du ein Auto verkabelst, führst du alles einfach zu dem Steuergerät, sofern du natürlich mit den Verbrauchern auskommst und kannst alles von dem Steuergerät wegverkabeln. Also wir verwenden, also ich sage jetzt mal in Europa, gerade jetzt im österreichischen Raum sind ja Haltesteuergeräte sehr populär.
Ja.
Da werden meistens Nexus R5 oder Nexus R3 Steuergeräte in Kombination mit dem PD16 benutzt.
Da musst du mir auf die Sprünge helfen.
Das heißt, wir platzieren zum Beispiel das Nexus R5 im vorderen Teil des Fahrzeugs in der Nähe vom Motor, machen dann die Motorsteuerung, die Getriebesteuerung und können dann zum Beispiel, also mit der 4x25 Ampere Stromversorgung können wir dann zum Beispiel die Zündanlage mit Strom versorgen.
Aus dem Steuergerät?
Aus dem Steuergerät, die Einspritzdüsen, Benzinpumpe, Lüfter, nur dann sind halt schon mal 4x25 Ampere weg.
Deswegen hast du auch die großen Anschlüsse oben drauf.
Genau, ja. Wenn man dann mehr Ausgänge benötigt, mehr Stromversorgungsausgänge, geben wir dann das PD16 dazu. Und wir können bis zu 4 PD16 dazu hängen. Das
Nochmal?
heißt, ja, also in Summe mit der Nexus-Serie können wir bis zu 4 PD16 anhängen. Das heißt, wenn wir zum Beispiel ein Rallye-Auto verkabeln oder ein Auto mit sehr vielen Verbrauchern, haben wir dann das Motorsteuergerät, dann teilweise daneben das PD16, auch noch für den Innenraum. Und dann, wenn du im Kofferraum dann zum Beispiel mehrere Benzinpumpen hast und auch Lüfter, wie zum Beispiel bei Driftautos, die haben die Lüfter oft meistens hinter den Sitzen, dann hast du halt hinten ein eigenständiges PD16 für die Stromversorgung von den Lüftern und für die Benzinpumpen.
Krass. Und V12 kann das auch?
Ja.
Ja?
Ja.
Krass.
Das kann bis zu 18 Einspritzdüsen und 12 Zündspulen.
Einzelzündung. Also nicht doppelt, ne?
Ja, Einzelzündung, ja. Es hat 18 Einspritzausgänge und 12 Zündausgänge.
Das ist sehr interessant. Aber ich würde gerne mehr sehen über dieses System, dass es halt wirklich so schnell zum Laufen auch kommt. Ne? Dass es halt diese Selbstlernprozesse auch hat dazwischen. Das ist, glaube ich, was ihr aufgebaut habt auch.
Der Scott hat was vorbereitet.
Okay. wir gehen mal hinterher.
You ready?
Yeah, the doors are too small for you, man.
The doors are too small.
Yeah.
You've got German heritage. This is
Yeah. So how many people work here?
depending on the day, somewhere between about 60 and 80 between
Here?
between this building and number 8, so the dispatch building down the road as well.
Oh gosh. And you produce the everything yourself? I mean, see, when I'm getting close to a computer, everybody tries to get me away from it. That's me. So when I ask, do you do everything yourself? That's not possible, right? So you buy certain parts.
We do, yep.
Yeah.
So with all electronics, you buy the silicon, so the microprocessors.
You know that, right?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
You buy the circuit boards. You don't really manufacture circuit boards, and I'll explain why downstairs, but the circuit board is the typically green or blue sort of fiberglass,
The surface.
which has got multiple layers. There could be 1, 2, 5, 12 different layers within that circuit board.
Layers
So,
means where a signal can go through.
that's right.
12 layers?
Yeah.
And it's
Yep,
the same thickness?
Yeah, it's super thin. So there's
But
full
how do they produce that?
magic.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's incredible. So different field altogether, and doing that, layering those boards, that's not something that
Not human hands can do.
No, so it'll have a full layer of copper that might be the ground
12?
plane. Yeah, one layer's a full ground plane. There might be a 5-volt plane, a 12-volt plane.
But how do they do that? I mean, how do they... Huh?
Wild. And then there's vias. A VIA, a via is a wire that links from one layer down through into a different
And
layer.
doesn't touch the other ones on
That's right. So
seventh floor,
yeah,
and then
beautiful. As well as, and you have to you have to manufacture all of that and design all of that in a particular way, because you're also not allowed to run particular signals side by side either.
of course, like in a car.
So think of the circuit board as a huge wiring harness, and that's essentially what it is. It's joining all of the components, all the other components, and all the power supplies.
So that means when you order it, you tell your design that you need, or there's a catalog where you can say, I think we can make it work with this board.
Oh no, you custom make your own board. Everyone would make their own circuit boards.
For you?
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
And how many do you have to order?
Well, you can order custom now with Access now. You can order 10 circuit boards if you want, and they'll be here in a week.
Huh?
Yeah, you can, when you're doing rapid prototyping, like very normal people at home could do normal rapid prototyping of
12
STM.
layer? No.
Most normal basic prototyping wouldn't have 12 layers. You'd have a couple of layers. You'd put
What's this?
yeah. An STM32 is a very common micro that a lot of beginners at home use, and they'll put that on that circuit board. They'll put a few things around it, and they might use that to make a intercooler water spraying system, or a home sprinkler system, or
I feel very dumb right now.
pretty wild. Think of it like the next level of 3D printing. So
But so small.
you
Can we see
just-
a board?
You
Can we
just,
see?
you just wait. Let's go downstairs. We'll go downstairs and
Yeah.
do the manufacture. Let's have a look at the guys that actually design that stuff, which is pretty crazy.
Can they talk, or are they computers? Are they human beings?
They don't speak German.
I guess.
They're very normal.
Hello.
So what you're talking about, this is where it all starts. So in here, we've got
Hello.
all the hardware guys down one side. So the circuit boards that you're talking about, the guys here are designing those circuit boards and laying out all the little paths and figuring out how thick each path needs to be, where it needs to go. So you're going to be excited when we go downstairs.
The layers are in this.
Yeah.
No.
So can you see, I don't know if you can see it, but the slightly different colours in the board?
Can I touch it like
Yeah,
this?
yeah, that'd be fine.
No, I can't. Can you see it?
We might be able to find one that we can...
You see the difference between green and
So,
yellow.
so that doesn't mean that each thing,
a component?
yeah, it's not really. It has a story where its control function stops.
Yeah, so think of it, so the micro being this one has got a whole bunch of pins underneath it. Downstairs we'll find a BGA, a ball grid array it's called, underneath that.
And they like to do that.
They love it. Everyone here loves it. It's the challenge of getting something working, and I sort of get it as well, that when they power it up for the first time and it doesn't
I
smoke,
think that's the important thing.
it's like modifying a car.
Oder?
Ja.
I gotta talk in German. So, das muss ja das sein, weil wenn du, oder sind die Jungs hier so drauf, dass die das nur mögen und was damit gesteuert wird, ist ihnen egal, ob es ein Kühlschrank oder ein Auto ist?
Nein.
Das muss.
Du brauchst einfach die Leidenschaft für
Voll.
Autos.
So this top screen, have a bit of a look at that.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. You having a good time?
Good is good. Yep, perfect time.
You enjoy this, right?
Yeah. So that's the BGA.
I can see that.
Yep.
I see that. I see that. That's a BGA, right? I can see that.
Oh, you learn fast. Yeah, that's of course. Can you see what I mean? How the wires, it's literally joining all of the wires together but within the circuit board.
It looks like a train station.
It
It
does.
is.
A European. It doesn't look that far away from the underground. Yeah, I agree. Look how neat and tidy everything is.
So it's not a German train station
But
then.
remembering, if that was only one layer, all the trains would hit each other, right? So you need to go underground to the next level, and if that's not available, keep going down until it is. And the more components you put on, the more trains you've got, the more layers you're going to need. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
And when you do this, you have still nothing because then you have to tell the system.
So once the hardware is done on this side, the firmware guys through the middle of the room. So the firmware is the thing, that the instructions that are inside the microprocessor, so they're written inside the computer. So that's the one that's doing all of the engine control work. But to program it, the part that you and I see, we need to go to the far side of the room, which is the front end, which is the software that gets installed on your PC. So these guys write the software that communicates with the firmware that's inside the computer to be able to finally get to the very end to control our engine.
Na, eine ganz neue Welt hier. Aber für mich ist das hier schon echt krass gerade, weil ich glaube, wenn man das schaut, denkt man sich, ja, okay, klar, brauchen wir so. Aber am Ende des Tages müsst ihr ja ein System entwickeln, was erstmal in der Lage ist, den Motor aufzunehmen, dass es all die einzelnen Funktionen hat. Es muss genug Kanäle haben, die offen sind, um halt das drauf zu tun. Dann muss der Spannungsbereich oder der Steuerbereich auch in dem Bereich liegen, wie das Auto das will. Dann muss es eine Oberfläche haben, wo der Programmierer das auch noch machen kann. Und das schreiben die Jungs hier?
Ja.
Ja? Die sind
Es
schon
wird
klug dann, ne?
Ja, es wird hier alles entworfen und auch hier dann letztendlich dann zusammengebaut.
These are all car guys as well. So
Very
we can
important.
talk about a particular issue, we can talk about a new function, a new feature that we want. We can have a chat about it, we can rapid prototype stuff.
He knows a two-step or anything kleiner a function that you want.
Yep.
He knows how it would sound, what the output is, what could maybe be a good idea, what would help the guy who programs it to make it work.
And understanding why, because on one hand to understand an engine, but the second part to understand why the market would want a 3D tunable two-step, why we would want to have a randomized cutout, why would we want to have a whole bunch of these different things.
Or new ideas.
Any new idea, absolutely.
Can I have a look there? So this?
Das ist ein Bildschirm.
That's it. No, this one. This for the new one, right?
This is a dashboard. Yep, so that's a 10-inch dash.
Oh.
Yep, still got circuit boards inside them. Yep, so that's got the screen and then the.
You make the screen also yourself?
We don't make the screens. We do all the circuit boards. Oh yeah, here we go. Thank you.
Tire pressure sensors too?
Yeah. So here we go. That's the 10-inch dash.
Why are you making this? Also to put them into the ECU?
Yeah, so they go into the CAN network, and then you've
No
got
way.
tire temp and tire pressure.
Ehrlich? Wie geil ist das denn?
So that's the dash that we're talking about. So that's got the circuit board that all gets loaded here.
Loaded means...
The blank board, and then all the components placed and put on and soldered.
So you make them yourself?
Yeah. We'll go downstairs and show you. It's crazy. Yeah.
But not the screen.
Not the screen part of it, no. There's a lot of specialized components in all these things, where things like a microprocessor,
But many companies don't do that.
or almost none.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's only a few special places that make something as big as a micro like this.
I'm very impressed.
Oh, that's,
No, honestly, because when we talked in the beginning, als wir in Deutschland das erste Mal gesprochen haben, da war das so, ja, es gibt halt so viele. How many real brands are out there? I would say in Germany that people really use is 5.
Ja, I would.
Yeah.
4 to 5. And as you can hear, I'm not a pro in that particular area. So you think maybe some of the parts are very much alike, but I feel now not.
no.
Because I thought a screen is a screen. Because they look very close. Die sehen sehr ähnlich aus, die Bildschirme. Sehr, sehr ähnlich.
Es kann auch sein, dass zum Beispiel von AEM und von einem anderen Hersteller der Screen selber aus demselben Werk kommt. Nur die Elektronik dahinter ist dann eine andere.
Ganz neue Welt für mich. And cable, you also offer the complete cable trees?
Yeah, all the wiring harnesses, yeah, for sure.
Also plug and play for cars?
We either make plug and play, like adapter harnesses, or we make units for more popular cars that plug straight in. Otherwise, full wiring harnesses. So if you've got one engine and one dash in the car and nothing, you can wire the whole car.
I always have a special question. So, is that legal in Australia?
Yes. Yep. So As long as the engine management system is password protected from the end user.
It's not or is?
Is. So that means that the tuner would put a password on it so that the end user, the customer, can't be adjusting their map on the fly. As long as you've got your engineering and you've passed the emissions testing, you're away.
Alles gut.
Ja.
Yeah. Same in Germany.
Marketing department are normally in here.
Were you also?
No, I'm in the sales and tech room here, but I do a bit of marketing stuff and a bit of sales and tech and a bit of R&D stuff and kind of sort of float around.
Hello.
So here's one of the tech support rooms. So in Sydney, if you ring the tech support line and you happen to get the Sydney office, you'll get one of the guys here. So we're doing phone calls, emails, ticketing systems, Facebook messaging, however the customer wants to speak with us, ask questions, whatever the case. So if you call the Haltech tech support number, this is the Sydney office, but there's also a New Zealand office. There's 2 in America. Thomas will answer the phone depending on what time of day it is. So you've got tech support about 23 hours a day.
Ah.
You
Can I
wanna
see
s-
it?
Yeah, of course, yeah. You want to see how that stuff's made?
What do you mean?
You want to go to TurboSmart and we can see how that's made?
Yeah.
It's just around the corner.
Wirklich?
Yeah. We can do a similar tour to this if you want there after here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem.
We never used it so far because it's a little big.
Right.
You need the room for it. Aber das ist ein elektronisch gesteuertes Wastegate. Das heißt, was du jetzt hier machen kannst, ist einfach, dass du gar nicht mehr über Unterdruck, Überdruck, dass du gar nicht mehr diese Regeltaktung hast, sondern du kannst das Ding einfach wirklich zum Stepmotor wirklich genau in die Position fahren und kannst, ohne vom Gas zu gehen, du kannst das Wastegate auf, zumachen, wann du meinst. Und das kann viel ändern.
I don't know if you've seen before, you might like this. I know this is
I
all
love
messy,
it.
but the
I
dash
love it.
up
I
here
love
with the
I
this is
love
what
it.
we'll end up doing for your car with something
I
like
think it
this.
operates primarily.
Ist das geil. You know why it's so smart? Because so many of the cars die now. And parts get broken, and I'm lucky to be in a position that I have a few of them. And if your Nismo Dash breaks,
Yeah.
you have a problem. This is the price of the whole Haltech system.
Yeah.
It is. You pay in Germany for original Nismo around 3,500, 4,000 for the Dash.
Yeah.
So you just change to a digital one. You can change it. It's way more clear. Of course, it's not an original one, but I think it looks even cooler.
All right, come on in.
That feels a little like James Bond here. Why is it blue?
Good question. You order them in different colours. I think it's temperature ratings. I don't know, to be honest.
Okay,
But I
so
think
nothing before process, after process. They don't change colors.
no, nothing at all like that. You choose them in different colours for different ratings. I think it is.
Okay. Hello.
So this is where a lot of the magic starts to happen. We'll wander down here and see
So
how
you,
they're
so you
manufactured.
really make them.
Yeah. Imagine me telling you that and then claiming that it's down here and it's not here. That would be terrifying.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. So
Hello.
Raj here is the production line manager.
And you controlling if everything is connected?
Yeah. So we do all the kitting, programming, and run the products here.
Does every ECU or every product that you finish gets on a system and get controlled that everything works?
Yeah. So
Every.
we assemble. We do the first one assembly. We do the inspection, and then the other department they do the testing.
Okay. In these things?
So let's start. Raj, you've got a blank board there.
Für mich gerade, ne? What?
So this is a blank PCB, so blank circuit board.
Is it okay to touch it?
Yep.
Yeah?
This will be a demo one. We don't need to muck around with this one.
So I can touch it?
We might even get this one and snap it in half,
What?
just so you can see the layers inside.
We're gonna snap it in half?
We might, yeah. We might put it in a vise outside. Can we have that one? We'll find.
Plug-in, with the new plug-in.
We'll find one. We'll find a damaged one. One of the ones that doesn't pass, and we'll. So, what's happening here? So these are all of the pads that have all been designed by the guys upstairs. Mm-hmm. This board will go.
This is the every route is designed by the guys upstairs.
Yeah. But that's what they were doing with that software upstairs. So the most important part. This is the base of the microprocessor.
That's a brain.
Brain, BGA, Ball Grid Array is what that is. So the microprocessor has all of those wires, think about, coming out of it, and you need to figure out how to get one of those across to here.
But how do you connect the dots in here, in the middle? Because they're hot and they're well done.
Unbelievable. So there's balls of solder that sit across all the top of this. The microprocessor sits gently on top of it in exactly the right position.
Only by touching.
Just simply sits, and then it goes through an oven at the right position and it sucks itself on, and that's it. So that's that circuit board. Feel that one.
I didn't.
No, I'm kidding. It's fine. All right. So
Ich habe echt kaum gedrückt.
no problems with that. What else? Feel the weight of this,
Da, jetzt sehe ich's. Jetzt sieht man's.
and then feel the weight of this.
Ja. Is weight a thing now?
Well, yes, and the reason why this is the PDM, a power distribution module. This device, I would expect this to sink maybe up to about 10 amps of current, not a lot. I would expect this to sink up to 120 amps.
Yeah,
so
you can see that.
Can you see better layers in this one maybe?
Yeah,
in your
yeah,
eyes?
Yeah.
This one's got solid core, a solid copper core in the middle of it because
Full. So if I cut it...
yeah. So what that does is that
Machst du mal
allows
hier,
it.
ja, ne?
Ehrlich gesagt, nein.
Finde ich auch krass, oder?
Also ich war ein paar Mal schon hier, aber hatte nie die Zeit,
Ach so.
an der Führung teilzunehmen.
Think of it like having a fat battery cable. That's the battery cable, is that core, as well as doing heat transfer. So it's conducting that heat across the whole circuit board rather than just one of the drivers.
Okay. And we can cut this?
Yeah, we'll snap it. Yeah.
Can I snap it?
Yeah, we'll do it out in the workshop, so we
Okay.
don't put fiberglass anywhere. And we might get glasses as well because it might be a little bit dodgy.
What?
So something like this, just like your jumper,
Yes.
this is a screen print, a solder paste screen print. And what
For the
that
white
does,
stuff.
what it's going to do, that would sit under here. We would screen print the solder paste
That's
across
das
all
Goldene.
of the little particular parts.
The gold stuff.
Yeah, the solder. You know, like solder is normally a wire you might use.
Yeah.
We use a paste.
So you
solder
have it-
paste. Yep. So just exactly the same as your shirt.
Krass, Alter. Und dann muss das verlässlich laufen. Dann muss das einfach minus 20 Grad, ich schmeiß die Karre an und der Kollege sagt, nee, ich bin hier.
So this is the solder paste machine.
Oh, I thought this is for the... But I think you need to be a certain person to be very into that.
It's a challenge. The excitement, and I know that it sounds really nerdy, but the challenge of getting a board from the beginning to the end with a near 100% success rate, and then when it works, it's cool, man. It's cool.
So what does this make? I mean, this is...
So this thing's doing the screen printing and putting the solder on. Then these machines are incredible. So this is a Yamaha production line. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 machines. As the board comes through, there's a bunch of heads in here that come through and pick up these components. So each component, see that bit there?
I thought you're not allowed to touch it because of the... I
The
thought...
electrostat,
Yeah.
Yep. So all of the guys are wearing all of their jackets. We're not. We probably should be, to be honest.
Okay.
But we're not going to be handling anything too closely. So what's happening in here is that we've got all of the electrical components. We've got the feeders. They roll in.
They're all different.
All different, and on the back side is the same thing.
Who decides? Also the guys upstairs decide?
guys upstairs.
Yeah, of course they do.
All of these components get placed in exactly the right position, in exactly the right orientation, and the thing moves so quickly. We'll try and get one on camera working. You're not going to be able to see it. Like the way that the head moves, it'll pick up a bunch of parts at once from all of the different racks, and then it'll put them down all over the board in all different places and come back for more.
So this boy is super important.
Very, very important. This is a pick and place machine. Yeah, very important.
Can I ask you how much is one of these?
I think a full line can be a couple of $1 million.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Alter Schwede.
So the circuit board is on the left over there.
Yeah, I can see it. Wow. And no mistakes.
No mistakes. Then it comes through this conveyor, and for lack of a more technical description, this is a pizza oven. It's exactly the same as when you go to your local pizza shop and they slide a pizza in the one end. It's got a temperature profile that warms the board up, hooks all the devices, all the solder melts. As the solder melts, the components suck down into exactly the right spot.
Come on,
Cruises through. It's come out the other end, so that one is hooked. Goes into the stacker. So this is a holding area. So as they cool down, it's a holding area as well. Quality control. So it comes through into this thing that takes high-res images of the front and back of the circuit boards. It looks at every single component on the board to determine if it's got the right part number, the right colorings. It checks for
Cold
everything.
welding points?
It'll do the color of the solder. Yep, and then it'll report on every device. Yep, that you would need to manually go and check any of these parts.
Yeah. No, I'm very thankful to have the chance to see that because honestly, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, and then we get through to the end, which is pretty straightforward, which everything gets loaded up into all of the enclosures. So we run about 3 shifts a day. So the factory is open almost all of the time with theirs.
How many ECUs do you produce per year?
Tens of thousands. I couldn't. Between all of the individual components, yeah, I couldn't tell you the value.
Tens of thousands?
More.
Hundreds?
But between all the dashes, all of the ECUs, all the specific plugins, all of the expander devices, like all of the components,
Everything here.
big numbers. Yeah.
Everything here.
Everything here. Yeah. Every single part.
Nee,
So-
sehr beeindruckend. Also ich bin total platt, dass eine Firma so ein hochkomplexes Produkt hier designt, hier produziert bis zum Ende und dann auch noch diese Zahlen, diese Mengen. Und das spricht halt auch wieder dafür, dass wir unsere Welt immer ein bisschen größer sehen können und auch sollten, wie viele Menschen das dann doch wirklich machen und wie viele Menschen das auch wirklich nutzen. Weil am Ende des Tages kennst du dann hier so einen, ja, der hat auch ein Freiprogrammierbares Steuergerät, das ist der Dennis mit dem so und so. Aber das sind Hunderttausende im Jahr.
So this is the next part of, once all the devices have been manufactured and they're sitting there ready to go,
You know what's so nice? Everything is so close together.
it's,
And that's, I think it's a good thing.
we have definitely grown. So we've been in this building for 3 or 4, 5 years. Time flies, I don't know, a while. But when we moved into this building, I remember looking around. We were kicking a football in the workshop, and we're saying, "This is huge. How we ever get this?" And now we've got 2 buildings in this street, and we're thinking, "Oh, we probably need to get another building."
Good for you, very good.
Once those are actually manufactured, they come through here. The guys do what we call a burn-in test. Go ahead.
All of them?
Yeah, every single unit, yeah. So they get a burn-in test, which is they're driven really, really hard. We beat the hell out of them, which basically loads any electrical component that was going to fail as a dead-on arrival to us. We want anything to fail for us. Pretty rare, but let's just say an injector driver, an ignition driver, or a microprocessor.
How do you do that? I mean, a lot of
They go
information.
through all of these devices.
Can I have a look?
Yeah, for sure. So these are all load testers. These are actually for some of the older units, some of the older Platinum series stuff. We still manufacture those as plugins for a lot of the older cars or to do limited runs. As we plug these in, it's going to go through and it's going to load all of those inputs and all of those outputs, and then it's going to record all that information against the serial number so that at any time we can always look back and look at every single tested value on that unit and say, okay, well look, this was all
And
nice,
then
this
with-
did this, this did this.
Production number, and you know this ECU worked.
Perfect. So good for batch tracking, good for testing.
So the last thing that's missing is direct injection, right?
It is, yeah. So that's something, LT1 will be the first engine that we do, and that's something that's been a strategic decision as well.
Okay, now we get into the parts that I can touch. I mean, I'm touching this, but... Also ich sag's nochmal, ich habe was ganz anderes erwartet.
Es freut mich, dass wir dich Staunen erleben.
Nee, voll, aber es ist auch für mich eine ganz andere Welt, komplett. Ich gehe hier durch und höre mir alles an und stelle auch bestimmt ganz bescheuerte Fragen, weil ich einfach gar keine Ahnung davon habe. Aber es ist so ein unfassbar... Ganz ehrlich, ohne das geht gar nichts.
Ja. In der heutigen Zeit nicht mehr.
Nichts. Einfach gar nichts. Und deswegen finde ich es ganz spannend, dass sich mal reinzuziehen, was da für einen Struggle hintersteckt. Und das muss auch noch perfekt laufen. Es muss ja perfekt laufen.
Ja.
Dieses Produkt hat keinen Spielraum für Fehler. Keinen. Keinen. Null. Noch nicht mal einen. Null.
Probably doesn't really, you can kind of see.
Doch, guck mal. Krass. Guck mal von hier. Hier siehst du richtig, wie viele das sind. Siehst du das?
Sind wir bei dem Punkt, den das Rolf vorher angesprochen hat, mit dem Verbiegen oder mit den Vibrationen.
Horror.
Wenn man das mal gesehen hat, dann versteht man erst, wie heikel die ganze Elektronik erst ist.
Volles Rohr.
Ja.
So what's going on with this little boy?
So this is one of the development cars. She's fairly simple, so I don't want to disappoint. There's nothing.
No.
This is a stock twin turbo, almost factory-ish car, which was very hard to find. We do this with any of the plug-in stuff we do. So we've just finished doing a direct plug-in for the R32, R33, R34 Skyline series.
So like plug in.
Plug and play.
So with the cable to really, guy.
So I may as well direct you here to show you sort of so.
I leave this here, okay?
Yeah. This is the plug-in ECU. So that's got the Nissan connector on the bottom. It's got auxiliary connector on the top that's got wideband. Mm-hmm. It's got an air temperature sensor. Mm-hmm. Or you can have extra harnessing that would do
flex fuel.
Flex fuel, oil pressure, fuel pressure, drive-by wire, pedal,
So wait. So this is the Nissan
Yep,
part, but so I used the original cable tree in the engine bay
Yes.
because they're all damaged now.
They are, and that's something that we're working on as well, is a replacement engine harness to replace that part. But
That would be-
this, this is the first of its kind that's a direct plug-in, allows you to do all the mods that you want to do to this car for the engine safety stuff.
So I gotta interrupt you.
Yep.
I buy this.
Yes.
I got my R32, R33, R34.
Yep.
I put this on.
Yep.
I got my electric throttle body.
Yes.
And I got stock injectors. I tell the ECU I got stock injectors. I put it on, I start the engine.
You even go through the wizard. So before that, you go online with it and it says, welcome, what car do you have? And we'll say, you've got an R34 GTR. We know which way around the crank angle sensor wires are. We know where the ground planes are
Teeth.
for those. Yeah, we know all of that stuff for that model. We know about the four-wheel drive output for the 34 compared to a 32 or 33. Then it'll say, okay, what coils do you have? Are they factory? Are they R35?
TFSI.
Are they, the T style? Yep, you choose that. That'll do the coil charge time. Do you have factory injectors? Or which injectors do you have? Choose them from a list. Do you have drive-by-wire? Do you have small, medium or large camshafts? Roughly what sort of boost pressure are we looking for? What compression do you have? Go, hit the key, cross your fingers.
And then start.
Beautiful.
Got it. How much is that system?
The plug-in series, that's $29.95 Australian.
So 2,300 Euro?
So $29.95 for the ECU, which this will be, this is a huge hit. This is a huge leap forward for the Skyline community. It comes with brackets that bolt it into the factory position in the car. No mucking around. This is beautiful. It's got a CAN port on the back of it.
And dash also?
So you can just plug the dash straight into this port.
Oh god.
It's got a 45-pound map sensor. If you press these buttons here, what's going to happen? Oh,
God.
hello.
Okay. Das ist ja geil.
That is a VL Commodore, which was a cool 80s car that is very popular in this country. Still has a mighty RB30 engine.
Okay. Geil. Now oh.
Das ist crazy.
Das ist geil. The quality of the display itself is very nice.
It does have a really good resolution, and you can
Very good.
see it from any angle as well, which is another thing that's a big deal.
Yo, you're right, because some of them, you really have to sit very, very, very straight. They get a little dark, even if you move your lip, they get dark.
We have buttons, or you can control all the pages, not on our display here, but with the keypad system.
Oh, that's a keypad, yeah.
We do not do a touch screen because, one, they get dirty and fingerprints and gross all over them. They're hard to control, and if you've got gloves on, they don't work.
Is it possible to put two on them?
Yeah,
On one-
you could have 2 7s and 2 10s if you like in the one car.
And then you have a adapter.
Absolutely, yep. So this is a
Geil.
very, very standard Deutsch connector. So that's a 4-pin. Am I saying that right, actually? Deutsch connectors? Deutsch?
Deutsch connectors.
I've never got the opportunity to ask, which I think is actually founded by a Californian person. So we've got that CAN connector we were talking about is so that's got CAN high, CAN low, power and ground. And you can loop that into as many devices as you like. What are these things? This is the mighty LS. So this is the one of the test stands for the Rebel system. The Rebel is the one that's got, it's a different generation of Haltech ECUs. So it's called the Rebel. It's designed specifically for the LS series of engines.
Okay.
It comes with the terminated harness that just lays over it. So if you put an LS into your whatever
Any
model
kind,
car,
yeah.
grab this harness, you lay it over the top, turn the ignition on, go through the wizard, it'll start, it'll run, it drives.
Yeah.
If you want to fine tune it, you can certainly take it to your local dyno shop and get it touched up. You don't have to, but you're ready to go. This one is our Mighty 2J that has been one of the, we can't really get rid of it. It's been here forever. And she's survived thick and thin. There's often revving competitions on this thing. The guys all want to see
How high?
who can sing it the highest with an automatic flywheel.
And
off the back of it.
your neighbors are good?
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Yeah?
They love us.
What's the highest RPM you got so far?
This one, not that high. I think this one about 93 or 9400.
Not bad. Okay, can we start something of this here?
Yeah. You can start this one.
Okay. This one?
Yeah. So this one's one of the development ones. So on, pretty simple, this one really. We cross our fingers.
Let me
Yeah.
ask. So this time that it takes that something comes up on a display, why is that?
There's a lot going on in the background. So think of it as like your computer at home booting up. So
But some cars don't.
some cars are live in the background all the time. So
All the time.
So your factory car, this Nissan right here, when you walk over there with that key in that
Yeah, he
pocket
knows
right
you're
now,
coming.
that dash is booting up about now. So by the time that you're in there, it's already on. And all that's happening is you're just putting the backlight on the screen.
Got it.
We don't have the luxury of doing that a lot of the time, unfortunately. But that is something that we're looking at doing is body control stuff and waking over CAN, it's called. So waking the device up as the driver gets closer to it.
Okay, then start this here.
And start her up, yeah.
No. I'm not that kind of guy. I love engines. I give a little time.
You're being so gentle.
What's that for?
So this is Wi-Fi comms to your mobile phone. So you can have the Haltech Connect app, and the app will connect to your phone. I don't know if I can connect to this particular one.
And you do the software also in-house?
Yeah. My one's pretty average, but yeah, you could end up having it like this so that someone in the pits can be making changes for you, or
Why are you driving?
Checking data. Yeah.
That's fast.
So this one's a little bit different. So this is a development unit where you can see that we've got EGTs, a whole bunch of different oxygen sensors.
Hier siehst du hier einzelne Abgastemperatursonten auf jedem einzelnen Zylinder. Okay.
So this one's definitely done a lot of work, and we're often in states of disrepair because we're either doing development testing or we're trying to break things, or the thing will run for days, or there'll be a particular ECU that we want.
For days?
Yeah, for sure. Yep, just to let an ECU go through and do its thing.
So is there a difference between real life for days? Because you can run it for days virtually, right?
You can.
What's the difference?
There's nothing better than on the actual thing. So
Okay.
all of the test cars, so we cycle all batches of ECUs through all of the test cars, because as much as you want to simulate something, we laugh, we got the laboratory conditions or lavatory conditions, because
Yeah.
a lot of it,
But the display differences?
Yeah, yeah.
Lord, that's a difference, man.
big difference.
Das ist auch schon gut, aber der Unterschied ist echt Wahnsinn, ne?
This is a nice demo as well, just to quickly show the CAN network you're talking about. 4 wires come out into the CAN keypad, 4 wires go down into the ECU. This is the wiring for your whole dashboard, it's just 4 wires. And then you've got the keypad.
Geil.
So we'll put the throttle to shut, let's see how we go. That's the start button, go for it.
Nice.
I don't know, let's have a look at this map. So maybe this one, let's see if we go wide open. Okay, so something like a valet mode.
Unleashed release.
So for example now, if I go full throttle shut to wide open throttle, so this is the one when you drop your car off for a car wash or whatever the case, and then if I go wide open throttle, now we've got full throttle access. Or if it was wet weather, you might want to limit the throttle, or
Somebody else driving?
someone else is driving, a torque management thing, whatever the case.
Cool. Geil. But I gotta say, I'm a little JDM boy too, though.
I had to.
Wir wechseln mal Akku.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you finish, or do you want to talk about dynos or any of that stuff, or if you're
No,
cool?
dynos. We have dynos in Germany.
You mainline people? You mainline that brand?
No,
or?
Dynojet.
Dynojet.
Okay, also ich würde sagen, wir gucken mal ein bisschen weiter im Text und machen dann woanders gleich weiter. Bis gleich, ciao. Ist wieder so komplett verrückt, wirklich die Straße runtergefahren und ist einfach Turbosmart da und denkt mir so, ja okay, die machen wieder nur so ein bisschen was. Aber nein, guck mal mit. Nur der Flansch, ja, den kennen wir alle. Der Alu-Flansch, das Blow-Off-Ventil, den kannst du so draufschweißen. Der wird aus dem Vollen gemacht, keine Röhre. Weil bei einem Rohr ist es einfach zu fragil, was wenn das Pack erst verformt, nicht mehr rund ist. Wir kennen das alle, du nimmst das Gegenstück vom Flansch, willst es draufstecken und dann passt es einfach nicht mehr dementsprechend. Das heißt aus dem Vollen. Das heißt, die haben extrem hohe Kosten, weil halt alles rausgefräst wird. Dann die ganzen Kleinteile, alles wird hier wieder per Hand gemacht. Ich habe gedacht, okay, das ist eine von den anderen und in China wird noch was gemacht. Nein, jedes Turbosmart-Teil, was wir auch in Dortmund haben, in der Kölnerstraße 89, kommt aus der Maschine. Und die ist jetzt nicht so, also die braucht schon für das Teil. Ne? Guck mal, also schon geil. Und ich liebe diese kleinen Firmen, die halt dann auf der Welt diese Position bekommen. Weil ich würde sagen, momentan ist Turbosmart schon eine der Top-Firmen. Wenn nicht sogar die Top-Firma für Blow-Off-Ventile, Wastegates. Ne? Für das ist jetzt nicht so viel von einem Auto. Aber wenn ich an das denke, denke ich nur noch daran. Früher war Teil auch noch so ein bisschen. Eigentlich Teil nur. Oder halt, back in the days, du kaufst die ganzen China-Kracher, weißt du? Habe ich noch gerade gefragt, aber viele Probleme hat mit Replikas. Und da muss ich sagen, bei Turbosmart ist es nicht so viel. Nicht so viel wie bei anderen Herstellern. Guck mal, hier sind zum Beispiel die Wastegate-Teile. Da hat er gerade gesagt, dass die Teile, die werden im Ausland gemacht,
Ja.
weil die einfach das Material hier nicht schmieden können. Also das ist der Guss. Es gibt keine Firma in Australien, die das kann. Das sind die ganzen Rohlinge für die verschiedenen Produkte. Ich finde das so geil, wenn du eine gute Idee hast und das auch dementsprechend funktioniert. Weil, wenn wir ganz ehrlich sind, die Materialkosten, ne? Guck mal, wenn wir jetzt mal gucken. Nee, die sind nicht so hoch. Pass auf, guck mal hier.
Materialkosten.
Turbosmart, so ein Wastegate, ne? 45. Sind 509 australische Dollar. So, 291 Euro. Und das ist ja, der Deckel ist so ein Stück, dann so eine Gummimembran, Einschraubdinger, Gewinde, das Ventil, ne, dieser Kolben
Ja.
und dann das Schmiedeteil. Ich dachte, da bleibt was hängen. Aber richtig. Und beim Wastegate weniger, aber ich glaube, bei den ganzen Blow-Off-Dingern, da kracht's richtig.
Wenn du mal durch die Regale guckst. hast
Ja,
du
Mann.
das gerade-
Oh, so krass. Das sind die Unterteile. Und die Straße runter wird dann eloxiert, ne? Weil die bieten diese ganzen geilen Farben an. Oh, Digga. Und die Regale hier sind voll. Geil. Okay, das war Turbosmart. Weiter geht's. So, was haben wir eigentlich hier für einen Mietwagen? Für einen Kfz bekommen von Nissan Australien. Ein wunderschönes haben wir hier. Das ist ein Nissan Patrol, aber ein Warrior.
Patrol.
Patrol? Nissan Patrol. Warrior. Ich bin dieses Auto jetzt ungefähr 500 Kilometer schon gefahren. Ich kann ganz klar sagen, das ist richtig, richtig geil. Ich glaube, das gibt es nicht in Deutschland. So auf jeden Fall nicht. Denn, pass auf. Also wir gehen jetzt mal, pass auf, wir machen es spannend. Wir gehen jetzt mal außen drum rum. Alles cool. Da steht schon mal was dran, was jetzt doof ist für mich. V8. Da drin ist ein 5,6 Liter V8 Sauger. Kein Turbo, kein gar nichts. Das ist ein richtiger, dumpfer V8-Motor mit 405 PS und 560 Newtonmeter. Digga. Also, den will ich mir mal angucken. Was ich an dem Auto sehr, sehr geil finde, ist, dass er diesen extremen Spagat kann. Es ist halt, was ist denn das? Das ist kein SUV. Es ist schon ein Geländefahrzeug. Und die Reifen sind 295 70 18. Das heißt, die sind auch vom Profil her und von dem ganzen Ding, das ist schon ein echter Offroad-Reifen. Also nicht jetzt irgendwie wie so ein, also wie kann man das zeigen? Guck mal, so größentechnisch. Das ist Serie hier, das kaufst du so. Pass auf. Oh. Hier ist kein Lader, ist gar nichts, ist ein klassischer V8. Ohne Partikelfilter gehe ich sehr stark von aus, weil der echt krass brüllt. Und jetzt kommen wir zum Preis. Ich weiß den Preis, du weißt ihn nicht.
Nee.
Was schätzt du, was das kostet?
Ich hatte ja vorhin gesagt, extra gefragt, australische Dollar, ne?
Australische Dollar.
Okay, weil die Umrechnung natürlich ein bisschen anders
Ich rechne es mal um. Und du weißt, hier gibt es auch dann Rabatt. Ne? Also das heißt, das ist der UVP. 5,6 V8, sieht so aus.
Ich sag auf doof, 62.000
67.000
Euro.
Euro.
Ah, das ist aber voll okay.
Voll.
Voll.
Und dann kommt halt noch, ich denke mal, du kriegst ihn auch für unter 60.000 Euro. Einen 5,6 Liter V8, 7-Sitzer. Und das Auto fährt 1A. Also, ne? So sieht das von innen aus. Das ist alles Alcantara. Dann Armaturenbrett ist hier oben mit so einem Kunstleder. Da hinten ist auch wieder so Alcantara. Großes Apple CarPlay-Ding. Automatik, Infotainment. Das ist jetzt nichts Besonderes, aber es funktioniert auf jeden Fall schon mal wirklich auf Knopfdruck. Aber Platz, pass auf. Das finde ich krass. Der geht nicht elektrisch. Also ist das krass. Gibt es ja heute kaum noch. Aber dann hast du den hier. Und kannst halt umklappen, hast du noch eine Sitzbank. Ganz lustig, ne?
Ja.
So, jetzt kommen wir aber zu dem Punkt, der jetzt voll Australien ist. Denn ich starte das Kfz jetzt. Erstmal, wo sind die Endrohre, ne?
Da ist doch was.
Jo. Weil der hat Zeitpipes. Und da kommt auch der Sound raus. Weil der Abgasstrang geht da auch lang. Hä? Was kommt denn da hinten raus? Hier war es warm. Ich glaube, das ist das, was wir jetzt ändern.
Ah, ich weiß genau was.
Ja, pass auf, pass auf.
Da sind schon ein bisschen da.
Ja. Serie.
Männlich.
Hä?
Männlich.
Ich fahre jetzt mal hier runter, pass auf. Aber es hört dir auf jeden Fall amtlich an. Jetzt wurde uns was erklärt auf diesem Trip von jemandem nicht offiziellen. Also, pass auf. Ich denke mal, dass das Auto zum Warrior in Australien wird. Das heißt, bei den Händlern wird es umgerüstet. Man macht so. Und jetzt siehst du hier so den Sicherungskasten und hier ist was reingeklebt. B-Modul Exhaust. Jetzt machen wir, ja, ich mache den erstmal dran, den Stecker. Man soll Zündung anmachen, Vollgas drücken
Und dann rausziehen.
und dann rausziehen.
Richtig.
Und dann ist die Klappe nämlich durchgehend auf. We gonna try this. Okay. Jetzt mache ich Zündung. Vollgas. Ziehen. Da ist sie. Da stand gerade auf dem Display was.
Was denn?
Habe ich nicht gelesen, oder? Das mache ich so, mach an.
Ist jetzt durchgelaufen. Tatsächlich, wirklich.
Ja.
Weißt du, warum man das auch gehört hat?
Ja?
Gerade als du Zündung anhattest und Gaspedal komplett durchgestreckt. Also durch.
Hat die gearbeitet?
Ja, hat die Klappe kurz gearbeitet, ja.
Let me test. Das ist viel geiler.
Ja, auf jeden Fall. Andere Seite.
Der Motor ist aber auch sehr geil. So, jetzt wollen wir mal gucken. Wir schätzen mal. Paul hat die Cappy nämlich auf,
Ja.
was das Ding so 0-100 macht, weil ich glaube, das ist gut. Weil das Fahrzeug auch einen sehr klassischen Wandler hat, kann man hier schön reinpumpen, bis zum Umfallen. Ich meine, es ist gut für diese Größe an Auto. Ich sag mal, das waren 7,1?
Nee.
8?
Ja.
Ehrlich?
Ja.
Fühlt sich aber schneller an.
Ja. Wir fahren normalerweise nicht so große Autos.
Ne, aber wenn so Leute, das macht schon Radau, ne? Schaltet auch geil, also es ist ein geiles Auto. Ne, also so gut, oder?
Ja.
Wo tue ich mich? Ne, ich finde das Schalten krass. Unter 8. Ready?
Ja.
7,7.
Nee.
Sondern?
7, 9. Ja, okay.
Okay, dann gucken wir uns mal so ein paar schöne Bilder an, weil wir haben ja so einen Sonnenuntergang erwischt. Und leider kann ich euch jetzt schon mal sagen, es wird der einzige sein auf diesem ganzen Trip. Weil wir das gerade sehr spät hier sehen. Mal gucken. Wer weiß, vielleicht morgen?
Morgen glaube ich auch auf jeden Fall.
Vielleicht morgen.
Den kriegst du aber nicht mehr mit. Obwohl, nee, den kriegst du nicht.
Nee, okay. Tschüss.